Undisputed, the Mexican Monster Pack out now.
What is the most powerful trait we have? You need power, speed. Let your imagination do the rest.
Boxing King Media, we're here with Frank Smith at a new fancy weigh-in. I'm going to call it fancy.
We tried to make everything a bit fancy. You know what my thing, I just want everything a bit slicker, quicker, you know, apart from people being late. I think it was good. You know, there's lots of improvements that can be made. We got to keep evolving, got to keep moving forward. Boxing has been left in the mud at certain points, you know, stuck behind the times. So all these little things, look, it's just a weigh-in. Ultimately, the fights have got to deliver. You know, we've got to deliver proper fights, but the product is important to us, and that's what we continue to evolve and improve.
I must say I did like the weigh-in. It was a bit gladiatorial, I don't know if that's the right word. Both of them kind of being someone in front of people. I quite like that idea, but I wasn't too keen on the press conference, I'll be honest.
No? Okay. Give me, after this, give me your feedback and we'll try and mix it up.
Well, but this was sick. I really like that. I think more people will end up doing that, I reckon.
Oh, great.
Make them dress make them dress up as gladiators, make it even more mad.
That's what we'll try. Maybe some outfits next time.
Wicked. So you said Harlem was late. I understand he's been late to all the events this week. It's quite clearly deliberate. You've obviously used to it, you know. It's a EUBANK. I know it's a EUBANK effect.
He's family. I'm not, you know, I'm not moaning Harlem. I love you still.
That was going to be the obvious question. What's the relationship like with Harlem compared to like Chris, for example?
I mean, it's quite clear, much better. You know, look, over the years I've helped Harlem where I could. You know, I've worked in boxing my whole life, so I have a good understanding of it. And when he's needed, you know, advice or assistance, I've always been there to help him. Very close with Harlem. It goes back to the point. My job is I don't get in the ring. The best man's going to win on the night. I think this is, even if I represent Harlem EUBANK, I think this was the best opportunity for him when you weighed up the fight. Don't be wrong, it's a hard fight. He hasn't been at the level of Jack Catterall. But there was other tough fights for less money that it would have been harder to come back from. You know, so if I was representing him, I think it was the right move to do. And ultimately, yeah, it's very good, my relationship with Harlem.
Well, I've not seen your interview since the fight, I don't think, anyway, because there was a thing I noticed on Fight Night at EUBANK Junior Ben, when there was some commotion about seeing what went wrong with Chris. I've never seen you so worried. You look like you're seeing a ghost, and I didn't know what happened, but looking at your face reaction, even though you like there's some sort of beef there, but you showed to me that there's a lot of love and a lot of care for Chris from you.
Well, it's family. It's family. At the end of the day, all this stuff is not real. You know, I have a long-term relationship, you know, and I would do anything for my family. And there's a separation, but at the end of the fight, that's the end of the fight. And when, you know, it's about health and family, that's what's more important. So yeah, that's me as a person. That's who I am as a person. People wouldn't see that though. People have a view of me about what's happened, what's gone on, etc. But yeah, it's what it is.
I wanted to talk about it in detail, but I've not had a chance to see you since, but we'll leave that for another day. So going back to this show, obviously Leo Tang, I'm excited to see how good this kid is, because there's a lot of, you know, I think he called Pat Brown the next AJ. He's getting called the next AJ. How many next AJs are there?
Look, he's got pressure, but at the same time, he's got the attributes to go all the way. Now he needs to go and prove it. He couldn't have had a better start to his fighting career, his professional career. What a week he's had, you know, being with two legends in Frank Bruno and Anthony Joshua earlier this week, and what a build-up. But yeah, he's got to get through Saturday night. He's 18 years old. We've got to take it slow, and we'll deliver for him, because that's what we do.
Any fights you're expecting an upset on Saturday night, or which one do you think will be the fight of the night?
I think the main event will be the fight of the night. I think it's a brilliant fight. You know, I think, like I say, Harlem hasn't boxed at the level of Jack today. I think it's going to be a great fight. You know, he knows what it means to him. Jack needs to prove himself in a big performance as well. So I think the main event as well on the undercard, obviously after the spice today of Akib and Alex, you know, you've got to imagine that's going to be a bit feisty.
Definitely, I urge everyone to watch. It should be a great night of boxing. Just a couple of quick ones on the side, because we haven't got a lot of time. I want to ask you about Ben Shalom. What is the latest you're hearing with regards to his TV deal? Obviously, I understand it's now over, the deal. There's no news.
No, I mean, look, I don't have any update on what he's doing with his business. Wish him the best of luck. Sure, they're scrambling around talking to everyone. But as far as I'm aware, I know the same as you. There's no deal with Sky, but yeah, I don't look. I'm focused on what we're doing here. We're trying to evolve. We're trying to improve things. I don't focus on other people's businesses. I've said a lot of things in the past, but it's what it is. We move forward on our own focus.
If fighters became free because of there not being a TV deal or anything like that, drop me 3 names who you'd like to work with from them.
Look, we all know I'm not going to get myself in trouble. I'm not going to say the wrong thing. If fighters are free and clear, talented, great fighters are free and clear, we're in the market, you know? But I'm not going to do what other people have done and go and do things the wrong way. If opportunities present themselves, we're always there.
And then the news on the Conor Benn, obviously we've heard the fight's pretty much done, but nothing's come from EUBANK side. And I noticed Boxer didn't share any posts regards to the fight as well.
They did share it and then they deleted it.
Why was that?
I don't know. You have to ask them. I'm not their PR department anymore. I think, I don't know, they've obviously got discrepancies and things going on between them and their team. That's their business. You know, our deal was done. The deal's been done since the start. It's been a 2-fight deal since the start. The date was set of September 20 or 27, straight after the fight by His Excellency in the ring. I don't know. You'll have to ask them. No, this is the thing. No one seems to ever ask anyone the questions, apart from. I mean, yeah, you can't get hold of him. I mean, wild. Says it all.
The last question on Conor. I've seen a lot of people on podcasts saying that it's dangerous to put him in that situation again with a heavier guy. Conor.
But Conor in the
situation. Against a heavier guy. So obviously this is a different narrative because people are going on about the rehydration thing. But obviously some people are saying it's dangerous for him to go up against a bigger guy. You're going to take time off his life and his time in the ring.
Look, those fights, they're grueling. Of course they are. But, you know, Conor Benn showed in there that he deserves to be in that. You know, it's not like no one spoke about. The funny thing is, before the fight, no one spoke about Conor Benn coming up in weight. There's all this whole narrative about Chris Eubank 160. He's made 160. Every fight he was talking about was at 160. Janabek, Adames, Lara. He would have had to make weight for all of those. Instead, he fought a smaller guy and had the fight of his life. You know, look, I think safety is always paramount. Of course it is. But from Conor Benn's perspective, you know, we wouldn't be doing it if we didn't feel it was the right move.
This is the last question. I forgot to mention Fury. He's announced pretty much that he's coming back fighting next year. Do you believe it? And is any talk started?
I dropped Spencer's a note. He said drop Spencer a note for tickets, so I bought 10 ringsides off him.
Sell them for a lot of money. Frank, thank you. Catch you soon.
The most powerful trait we have. You need power, speed. Let your imagination do the rest.
Undisputed, the Mexican Monster Pack